Okay, when I was asked to give this testimony, I had some things in mind, and this last week Pastor Dameron preached about a faith that works. And I see that faith revealed in the church. Bus ministry, I haven't been involved with bus ministry for several years, but I see the results of it. Isaiah 59 verse 1 says, "Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save." And I see the long arm of the Fairhaven bus ministry. I continually meet people that have been touched by its outreach. Just recently, I shared this with Fred Edwards a couple weeks ago. Talked to a young fellow, probably late 20s, maybe early 30, who was, name was Brian. He was waiting table. And it was our last week of the Hoosier Bible Days, and I invited him. And he said, "Oh, where's it at?" I said, "Fairhaven, we just are having the last of our Hoosier Bible Days. We had our fair day for 2 weeks and all kinds of fun times." "I remember that," he says. 20 years ago, I went to Fair Day. I had a great time. I won a goldfish. It died the next day, but I won a goldfish." And he remembers Fairhaven as, part of the bus ministry. And, a lot of different people had a part in just Brian remembering Fairhaven. Now, I hope to see him again and invite him out again. I'd like to see him come. But the bus ministry definitely works. But on a personal note, the nursing home ministry, I've been involved with that since about 1998, so almost 20 years. And I got started just as a helper for a couple of years. I was working with Dave Hunt in what used to be Fountain View. It's now Golden, but in February of 2000, I said, "Would you go over to Miller's Mary Manor and just look at the ministry, think about taking over the leadership there?" I said, "Okay, we'll just go look." And at the end of the service, I ended up with a box of songbooks and responsible for the message in the ministry the next week. And but God never gives you more than what you can handle. We started out as a helper, and we did that for a couple of years, working in Fountain View, and then we went over to Miller's Mary Manor. And, God gives you what you can handle. And if you're here and you're not involved in any ministry, I encourage you to just take that step of faith and get involved in some small way in a ministry. You master that small thing, God's going to give you a little bigger project to handle. When you master that, He's going to give you a bigger project to handle. And each one is a blessing. And being involved keeps me right. I know studying and preparing for each service, God speaks to me long before I speak to the residents. Now, that doesn't happen every week, but sometimes, maybe I get something that's a little not quite right, and I'm studying, and all of a sudden, oh man, I've got something I got to deal with. And that should be true for anybody that's working in a ministry, from the preacher on down to, bus captains, Sunday school teachers, nursing home leaders. It's faith that works. And God works me over, then he uses me. And God is waiting to use you also. So by faith, get involved in the ministry. Start small and grow big. And God will bless.